Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings for Brighton 0, Everton 0. What a scintillating game of football that we have just witnessed. Don't forget, if you want to leave your man of the match, please do in the comments, and I will read out your man of the match. As long as too many don't come in at once. I don't think they will. William Gilligan says his man of the match was Hamos. Okay, he's the only one so far. Let's start with Robin Olsen. I've given him a 7.5. He had to make one good save in the second half, but I thought he was good all night. To be honest, quite comfortable. His kicking was good. He took a bump early on off Yerimina. I actually had visions of him having to go off because of that. Having to go off because of concussion or something. But he didn't, and he did okay. He stayed big a couple of times, coming out and punching instead of catching. But that is the way of a lot of continental goalkeepers. So as long as they get rid of the ball, I'm all right with that. So yeah. Chris says man of the match was Coleman, as does Reese, and Hugh as well. Those three there for Seamus. Ben Godfrey, 7.5 as well. Thought he played well. Pace at the back. Loads of really good blocks. I thought he did a good job just getting his body in the way as much as he could, really. And looks quite comfortable there at the back now. I think playing three at the back certainly suits someone like him. It suits Mason Holgate when he plays at the back as well. So I thought he did well. I don't think it suits Michael Keane. I'll give Michael Keane a 5.5 because I just don't think he knows, or just don't think he ever looks comfortable playing in a back three. I don't know what it is. He just can't quite find his position, and he just doesn't like getting dragged out into areas where, with players with pace trying to take him in the channels, and he just doesn't like it at all. He just doesn't like it, and I just don't think a 3 suits him at all. He had a couple of poor headers tonight, which dropped in the wrong areas, and certainly one heavy touch that led to him getting a booking when he late on. So I know I wasn't really too enamoured with his performance tonight. Sol says man of the match was Godfrey, as does Nathan, is it? Sol says Godfrey as well, and Maz says Coleman. Yerimina, 7. Obviously had to go off with an injury. Very unfortunate. It's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks now. Unfortunately, because I think he's our best centre back. He's our best centre back. And funny, I think he slid in, didn't he? I don't know whether he'd done the injury then, whether his groin went. But yeah, just when you need another injury, he got injured. So I'll give him a 7. Seamus Coleman, I think for his energy tonight was excellent. It was excellent. He was trying to work stuff, trying to do stuff, trying to be creative, trying to get back. At times, he was his own worst enemy because he was making a couple of mistakes now and again because he was so determined to basically do everything he could for Everton. So I will give him 7.5. I think, again, he was just trying to do everything he could, but it meant it led to mistakes. But at the other end of the pitch, he was trying to link things together. So it was one of those games where he just couldn't quite find the creativity. He overhit some of his crosses. Reese and Goodison Blues both think he was man of the match, as does Seamus, who thinks he's man of the match as well. And just at times, just overdoing things led to him just making mistakes. On the other side, Luca Dean, I'd probably give Luca Dean a 6.5. Not in the game enough I thought first half, he was in it a bit more, trying to get crosses into the box, forcing corners rather than crosses. I think they targeted Dean tonight. I think they looked at him and thought, he's their most attacking outlet. Let's try and get behind him. And I think that caused him a few problems again in the first half. I think that cost him a few times when he was trying to get high up and they were trying to get in behind him. And I think that meant that second half, he never really ventured up too much. So I think that, that's the danger of when you're playing that kind of formation. And he was the width. I know Gylfi Sigurdsson was giving him a little bit of hand, but he was the width. And I think they just looked and thought, we can get in here. And it stopped them playing second half, I think. Into midfield, Mason Holgate, 7. I thought he did fine again. I thought his passing in that midfield, I thought his passing was spot on. I think he suits that position, to be honest. I think he really does. I think he suits that position. It's surprising to me that he hasn't played that position more, really, given how he played it when Duncan Ferguson came. It was in charge, and I think he played it once while Carlo was in charge. So it is a bit strange because his skill set does seem to suit playing in midfield, and I know this is something that Baz has mentioned a few times this season about him playing there, and he definitely does seem like he suits playing there. And I thought he played well tonight. I think his range of passing's quite good. I don't think he jumps in for tackles. I think he keeps his head. I think he's mobile. So maybe there's should be more opportunities for him to play there. He's certainly a player who wants to play football. And maybe that's a position that we need to start looking at or maybe changing him into. He's probably going to have more opportunities to play there maybe this season. Certainly, it depends whether Allen's fit or not. But I'd definitely look to give him more opportunities in there. As I said, I think maybe we'd looked at maybe him or Godfrey, but I think Godfrey's now got himself where he's probably definitely one of the centre backs for every game because of his pace and because of his tenacity. So that's why Holgate was shifted out to the right, and I think obviously when he plays on the right, he doesn't really offer us anything going forward. So I think he can definitely play that position. And he plays around them, but I think he can play that position. Tom Davies, I think again, Tom tonight, I think when he had the ball, no problem at all. I think he was dispossessed a couple of times, but I think it was when he didn't have the ball. I think you've seen the difference with someone like Bazuma, big, strong, physical player. He got in the box once and put a header wide. But again, he wasn't truly sitting in front of that back four and taking the ball, because that's what Holgate was doing more of tonight. So I'd probably just give him a 6. I just think that he was before the game we were looking at, he is the only real midfielder we've got, defensive midfielder. Mason Holgate goes in there and does a job. I appreciate that, and I thought he did well, as I said. But it's difficult it'll always be difficult for Tom Davies because of his size. It really will, and he doesn't have that pace either to get him away from people. So we know what happens a lot of the time. If he can't get away from them, he goes down, and he's not the most creative player in the world. He's someone who takes the ball off the back four and tries to move it on. But I just thought they had a much bigger command of the midfield than we did tonight, and that's why they created a lot more chances. Gylfi Sigurdsson, 6.5, did all right. First half again, I thought he was quite bright. He was trying to get it into Richarlison as quick as possible, trying to get things around the corner. Kept the ball well first half. I just think again he drifted out of the game second half, as a lot of players did. He just drifted out of the game and didn't have an effect on it, because if the ball's not going to him, then it doesn't really get involved really at all. James Rodriguez, I'd give him a 7.5. Again, our most creative player. Unfortunately tonight, certainly in the second half, he's going looking for the ball, and he's having to pick it up in deeper areas. And I think when he picks it up in deeper areas, certainly tonight, he didn't have that pace. He didn't have that time, because they were pressing. Didn't have that. There was a couple of times, and you could see his mind working, and he was trying to get us down the wing, but he just couldn't get it out of his feet quick enough to, or create an angle quick enough, because they had players getting on top of him. So a lot of the times he just play it safe. He wouldn't lose the ball most of the time. He'd just play it safe. He'd keep the ball, but it'd end up going to one of our centre backs or one of the wing backs. It was just that thing tonight. We just couldn't get enough space because he was having to go looking for the ball because we weren't finding him in the right areas. But as always, he looks our most creative player. And if we could get, we couldn't get the ball to him high enough the pitch like we did against Crystal Palace to open them up. Like, so if you've seen it on last Monday, he's getting the ball high up the pitch. That means Luca Dean can bomb on and he's finding them, and then we're getting round the back. Tonight, he couldn't do that. And a lot of the times it meant the likes of Luca Dean just weren't getting on the ball. He just couldn't get the ball to Luca Dean. And we couldn't get up the pitch then because Luca Dean's one of our biggest outlets. You know, that's where Hammers gets the ball and he gets it wide. And Richarlison, 6, worked hard. Again, first half, trying to do things, but ball just wasn't getting to him. Ball just wasn't getting to him enough. I know what you want is just slip him in, just slip him down the channel and see what he's got. And he didn't have anything. You know, it didn't happen, enough times. And the second half, he just faded out the game. So, you know, it was what it was. It was just one of those games tonight. You know, we had a Iwobi came on, he had that late chance, but apart from that, he didn't really do anything. I'd probably just give him a 5.5. Again, not in the game enough, but at the end of the day, you looked at the bench now. Nathan Broadhead come on, he didn't really touch the ball. I don't know if he did touch the ball. The bench was decimated, and we simply don't have the players. We don't have the midfield to compete. We haven't had the midfield to compete all season. And at the top and bottom, if that's where it comes from, that's why we're not in a higher position, sadly. Squad's got to get better, and you know, you can't leave yourself in a position. And I know we've got a lot of injuries. You can't leave yourself in a position when all you've got is kids, sadly, on the bench, and you can't really make changes. And it's a case tonight where the manager is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He's left players out because he wants them 100% for Friday. But obviously he's got no one to replace those players with, because all he's got is kids. And you know, you think about people like Josh King as well. Tonight would have been his opportunity, and he's injured. And it's just that kind of luck that we've had all season. You know, Alan, Decore being out at the same time. And they were our two big midfield players that Hammers has been out large parts of the season. They were our players we bought in the summer too. And what it shows is that you go after players like Ben Godfrey, then you get the rewards because he's played all season pretty much. You know, he's had the odd injury, but he's played most of the season and he's grown into the season. And we're going to need to bring in more players like him because there's no point going for older players who there's a risk of being injured. It's as simple as that. We know how much time Alan's missed. We know how much we know Decore hadn't been out, had he? But he's out now. Hammers has been out. So could we have done better tonight? Yeah, it was dross tonight, wasn't it? It was absolute dross. It was just very, very poor. And I'm not blaming the injury list. I just think it was really poor. There was no energy. There was no pace. And it's annoying because they're a poor side. They're not a good side, Brighton, by any means. They play nice tippy-tappy football now and again, but they can't score goals. They had opportunities, but they can't. And I've said it for ages, we need better players. We need better players to come in, freshen the squad up, get rid of as much dross as we can, get rid of all the Bernards and the Iwobis and those kind of players, and get some strong, physical, fast, players into that squad. Simple as that. Young, hungry players in the mould of Ben Godfrey. Simple. You look at Ben Godfrey, what he's done this season. That's the mould of player we have to go after this summer. And, you know, for 20 million quid, he's proved that they're out there. He's proved that those players are out there. You've just got to be willing to take a chance on them, do a little bit of homework and go out and get them. And that's what we have to do. And the more players we have like that and the less injuries we have, then the more chance we've got of keeping a team together for the whole of the season. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's just one of those things tonight. As I said, it was just really, really rubbish, really. And I can't really be bothered getting upset about it because it's just, what's the point? We've got another game Friday and it'll be, you know, if we win that game, then we've got something to go for the rest of the season. If we don't win it, then that's the season practically over, isn't it? And yeah. But if we do win it, then, you know, the week after we play Arsenal, and that's another big game. And then the likes of Villa a couple of times and West Ham away, Sheffield United, Wolves, you know, they're the games we're going to have to win. There you go. It's no one said it was ever going to be easy being an Evertonian. It is what it is. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out my instant match reaction. Make sure to check out Baz's videos as well. We'll be live tomorrow on Patreon to do the final words. We have got Andy the Piv in with us. So, you know, it'll be worth watching, even if we're talking about what's gone wrong. He's in the studio tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. It'll be on Patreon. The link for that is in the description and it'll be on the screen. Thank you for watching. Give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you later.